show here at ArtCurrent in Provincetown. All of the board members and one of our featured artists is here. And this is my work here, and I am a cut paper artist, and I usually take images and cut them down and put them into different forms or circles or sticks. If you come in close, you can see one of my favorite pieces, James Franco smoking a joint. He couldn't make it tonight. His brother Dave was here, but he bought a Bible.
My name's Ian Hartzog. This body of work here was an evolution from a previous body that I did here last year for the Provincetown Conservation Trust. The reason that I really like it is the complete randomness of the work. It evolved from just grass on paper, and then I cut the paper down. So you can see in parts of it that bugs got to the work and ate the paper. It looks very lined, and there's a lot of charcoal drawing involved with it, but it's completely organic, 100% random. We then go over to my more urban landscape body of work, which is definitely a lot more set up, a lot more structured. It was completely analog process for me. I don't use any digital photography at all. The prints on the front are Polaroids, which I then scanned and turned into black and white, and then did a Polaroid transfer process on the top of it. So that's how you kind of have a three-dimensionality to the image, as well as giving it kind of a more abstract lining look.
My name is Amy Marie Regan. I'm a contemporary photographer working out of New Hampshire. For this body of work, I traveled to Florida and spent some time looking at the buildings and responding to the landscape. And with that, I walked around and photographed. The bottom row is photographs using a small toy camera that has a lot of light leaks, and it also shoots film, and it's very simple, and you just sort of click when you see the scene that you like. The top row of photographs, I also use a film camera, and you have to set it up, and you take your time, you compose your shot, and you focus. So using both of the cameras simultaneously, I try to get the feeling from the town wherever I'm traveling, because I most often travel and photograph at the same time. So with these photographs, what really struck me was the color of how the entire town had been. Living in New Hampshire, there just isn't that vibrant tropical color, and that I found here. So I really tried to capture the feeling of the town. And most oftentimes I like to try to photograph people, and there wasn't a lot of people there. It wasn't as populated as other places that I've traveled. So it actually ended up becoming a very, very solemn sort of body of work. So that's what we're seeing here today.
My name is r.MFA. This is part of a larger body of work that I've been doing for 4 or 5 years now. I basically work in the standard form, 4 feet by 4 feet. And when I make them, I just start out with like a basic kind of idea that I want to think about, some kind of concept, and then work in puzzles and little tricks to kind of like prey on people's natural problem solving abilities, because you only have a few moments with your viewer. So basically how it works, like the text, if you read it from left to right like you normally would, you get the message, but when you split it up, the split up parts become, they live on their own, you know? So this is, basically this painting is about selfishness. And I went with the cheap joke, like, you know, it's selling fish, because I couldn't think of a good enough symbol to really bring it together. But I decided to use text as a color in the background, so it's, if you look, it's just the same phrase repeated over and over and over. And because of that, it started to develop little systems and little, you can see kind of right here, there's lines like that in the text and everything like that, which is a great little accident, you know, because I didn't expect that to happen. But yeah, they take about 2 months to do. I do about 4 or 5 a year. I've probably made about 30 of them now.
Hello, my name is Devin Sweat, and this is my artwork. Each of these pieces starts with an object that's a found object, something that I find throughout daily life, and something that's usually not an object that you can find in regular culture today. And then once I found the object, I bring it into the studio and I try and light it so that it then can printed on, I try and abstract the object when it's printed on a two-dimensional surface. So each piece that you have here, by using the highlights and the contrast created by the studio lighting, I try and abstract the object itself. And then, since each piece is an artifact on its own, I try to take the idea one step further and turn the piece of artwork itself into an artifact, which is kind of what this body of work has turned into. Each one of these is printed on a 4x5 black and white piece of film, and then framed. And by making it a Polaroid, the Polaroid then becomes an artifact.